Hello, and welcome back to Doubting. No, my goodness, I'm just
Doubting
really sucking it up
Crunchy
right now.
Mom. Well,
Crunchy.
I do get a lot of the views. We might want to change and lead off with Doubting Dad and Crunchy Mom.
We're good.
You sure?
Oh, I'm sure.
Jeff's Gyms might find it easier to search for Doubting Dad
Okay.
and Crunchy Mom as opposed to... No?
No.
Okay.
Welcome back to Crunchy Mom and Doubting Dad, episode 52.
52. That's right.
We're going to continue with some more swaps, but I'm going to be really mean to candles, plugins, and air fresheners today.
What about Febreze, though? You're going to be mean to Febreze?
That too. But that's like a whole nother thing with like air fresheners.
What did you just say?
Oh, I did say air fresheners. It's been
Did
a
you?
long day.
I don't know what you said.
I thought I said...
Are there 3 categories of things? Candles?
Did I say air fresheners?
I don't know what you said.
I don't know what I said.
I've had a long day as well.
I have too.
It's dark out, and I'm ready for bed, and I haven't even showered yet. But I'm glad you had time to make tea. Show everyone your teacup, Katie, and your wooden spoon that you got.
I did. Did we tell everybody that story?
I don't think you told them about the wooden spoon, no.
Okay, that's actually hilarious. These are my wooden spoons. If you like them, I'll send the link on the Instagram account, Amazon. Can't go wrong with Amazon. And my cute little mug that I've had since I worked at Starbucks, which I don't support anymore because of political reasons.
Well, and you've always said their coffee tastes burnt.
Yeah, their coffee tastes like crap. There are much better coffee companies out there that supports better causes. 7 Weeks Coffee is fantastic, and they are for life. So if you are looking for a new coffee company to support that is good coffee and doesn't taste burnt, I suggest that. Anyway, back to the wooden spoon story. What were we doing? I think we were just talking one night with the boys or one afternoon, and I was talking about the honey. So I work with a woman who is a beekeeper, and she does her own honey, and she's phenomenal. Jeff and I love her. She's super sweet. And I had mentioned to Jeff that I needed to get more honey from our friend. And is that when you said you need to get wooden spoons or something?
I don't know. I've known about it for a long time. I told Jackson about it.
However, I did not know, because somehow wooden spoons came up with the honey and the enzymes, and my husband informed Jackson and I that you don't want to use a metal spoon.
Yeah, it actually kills off the good enzymes or whatever. The way
honey.
it reacts with a metal spoon, it takes away from it. Which I thought was fascinating, and why the whole honey spoons, the little honey, with the little grooves in the wood thing, dipper, I assume that's why it was that way. But how the heck would somebody way back then know?
They did things
But then
differently
again, all
back
their
then.
spoons,
There was no metal.
no, they had silverware back then too. I mean, silverware is hundreds of
Probably
years
wasn't
old.
processed the way it is now or made the way it is now.
Metal is metal. My gosh. You dig deep for like everyone's trying to kill you.
Well, okay, Mr. Conspiracy Theory.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like, oh, a metal fork. Well, they don't make metal forks like they do nowadays. They have benzene, and I don't know, or what. Like, what is metal's metal? I don't know, but I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Almost everything has more ingredients and cheaper things in the manufacturing process. But I think it's any metal. I think even if it was like pure, straight up stainless steel or whatever the combination is, but metal spoons are very bad for honey because it takes away some of the enzymes that
Are in the honey
that are
naturally.
in the honey naturally.
So Jackson and I didn't know this. So it was last week I was talking to this coworker of mine, and she was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I have this year's honey for you. So just let me know when you guys need a jar, and I'll bring it to work." And I'm like, "Okay, perfect, great, thank you." And I said, "Actually, I have a funny story for you." And she's like, "Well, what is it?" And I said, "Well, we've started using the last of the honey that we have from last year's stuff because I finally got wooden spoons." And she literally just, like, the way she did it was hilarious, and I wish my husband could have seen it, but she, like, turns and leans up against the wall of because I'm in a cubicle at work, and she goes, "What?" She goes, "What do you mean? You weren't eating it before?" And I said, "Well, we were, but then we stopped because my husband informed me," and I told him told her the whole story about the enzymes, and she was laughing so hard. And I'm thinking, okay, like, is my husband just as crazy as I am with some of these things that we research and find out? Or is she laughing because she's impressed? Like, I have no idea why she's laughing so hysterically over this story about a metal spoon and a wooden spoon. And I finally asked her, I'm like, well, is he wrong? Is he right? Like, what's the deal? And she got this big smile and she goes, I'm actually quite impressed with your husband because he is correct. Metal spoons do break down the enzymes in honey and you don't get what you need. However, if you guys are taking the honey for allergy purposes, which that's mainly why we are, and I love fresh, good honey, not from the store, local honey. But she was like, if you're taking it for allergy purposes, then a metal spoon will not ruin the pollen content, is what she said. And that's what you want in local natural honey in regards to helping with allergies. But she was like, but I am very impressed that Jeff knew that. So
I impress a lot of people, Katie.
you do.
Least of all you. What? Please continue.
Anyway, we've been talking so much about different oils, and we talked a lot about fall oils last week and starting this week, that I realized we haven't done a podcast on candles.
You keep threatening to,
I
but
know.
we haven't done one yet.
And so, a little background, I have always been for candles until 7 years ago. I was even the teenager that had probably 4 or 5 candles in my bedroom.
Like the heavy ones that like melt down all different colors so that when you're like all messed up on shrooms, you can be like, whoa.
Okay, first of all, I've never done shrooms.
Oh, that's right. Never had a cavity, never smoked a cigarette, and never done shrooms. The list gets longer on the stuff you haven't done.
You've met, my father. I was my father's good child. I never did anything bad that they know about. So, but no, I've never tried a cigarette. I've never done any drugs. I am a goody-goody in that regard. However...
Caffeine's a drug. Coffee addict.
Okay, whatever. I don't drink coffee anymore. I drink mushroom coffee.
Mushroom coffee.
Which that's a podcast too. Actually, I went write that down. Mushroom coffee too.
Are you seriously writing notes during our podcast that we don't edit?
Yeah. Took me 2 seconds. Okay, so he's like really disgusted and irritated with me tonight. Like I wouldn't do that before.
I got barked at.
Oh, here we go.
Barked at.
I knew this was going to come up this podcast. You were waiting for it.
Barked at. Horribly barked at. Horribly mistreated. The tone, you'll never hear that tone on a podcast. And was told to get off my lazy ass.
Oh, I did not say that.
Well, I'm paraphrasing.
Then tell the truth, Jeffrey.
Okay, then I'll tell the truth. As close as I can get, like verbatim. I'm doing everything around the house. I do all this, and I do that, and I had to do this, and then I did this, blah, blah, blah. And then you just come home from working all day and then being at football practice until friggin' dark, and then running routes until 8:30 with your other son, even though it's dark out, and then you come home, and then you sit down for 20 minutes. And what are you doing? It's 9 o'clock. What are you doing?
Okay.
I'm eating dinner. Oh, now you're eating dinner? When did you want me to eat dinner?
When did you add all this extra dialogue?
Oh, it's all there. Hold on. I'm not done yet.
I didn't even bring up.
So then the youngest finally goes to bed. He's the last one to shower, and again I go back to sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden I have to prep the podcast, which is literally taking that phone, putting it on our little $9 tripod, and plugging in these little speaker things, these little microphones. Takes 2 minutes. So I get up like the good beaten down husband that I am, and I do what she asks, and I sit down, and I'm sitting here, and behind her you can see the teapot over there, and I hear click, 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 and she's starting the stove up. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, making tea. Do you know how long it takes to boil water? I do.
My throat's sore, and there's
8.5 minutes I sat here watching you slowly boil water so that you could have tea for a podcast. I haven't even showered yet. Anyway, I'm glad I got that off my chest. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are on my side and can relate. But, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you slowly sip it to rub it in. Okay, Katie, hurry up and go.
You just ruined.
Itches a lot.
Did you just use your middle finger to itch
This
your
one
nose?
didn't fit in there, so I had to use that one. It wasn't passive aggressive at all.
Wow.
You've done it to me. Not
I
on
have
camera,
not.
though. All right, so candles.
They're just full of surprises.
Good or
tonight,
bad? What
Mr.
are these
Archer.
ones, though?
Soy.
Soy candles?
With no fragrance.
Well, you never light them. They're just in your decorations, but I was curious.
Well, the reason why... Oh, no, I was telling a story until my husband had to go
Good
on
God,
a
are we
rant.
back on the spoon?
No!
Oh, okay.
I'm telling them about candles, and you rudely interrupted because
Oh,
you had
yes.
to get it off your chest that I'm...
But I feel
mean
better. I
wife.
think there's a lightness now about me in my tone. So I
okay.
think I'm ready to banter better with you.
So glad.
You got to get things off your chest in a marriage. You can't just, hold it all in.
This coming
And
from
then
a man
blow
who
up at a
2
man
minutes
that-
ago said, we're videotaping and we don't edit these.
We don't edit these.
I know, and you keep talking and talking and talking about stuff that doesn't pertain to the podcast.
Oh, boo-hoo. We have to do another podcast on Febreze or whatever your other one was. You have more than enough time to talk about candles. You
Okay,
want me
so
to
anyway.
summarize it? I will. Candles, bad. Don't use them. Buy a diffuser. Hashtag Young Living.
It's a good thing you have me to fill in all of the little details that people do
But any
want.
of the men out there that actually listen to us, they're just like, oh, gotcha. Young Living, diffuser, candles bad. That's it.
Okay, well, there,
So-
you hit that audience for us.
Now you hit the rest of the audience.
So anyway, I did have one of those candles too that melted down into the different colors.
You did not.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Where did you get it at? Did you go to Spencer's?
No,
In the
Claire's.
mall? Claire's. I don't know
I'm
that
a
one.
girl. Claire's
I
was
don't know what Claire's is.
any woman that was raised in the 90s knows what Claire's was. So yes.
Is it in a mall? Mm-hmm. Then a lot of our listeners probably don't know what Claire's is.
You don't think so?
Maybe we have a lot of rural people that listen. I don't know.
Well, Claire's was a big thing back in the day. Anyway, I would light these candles, and my mother would always tell me, be careful with the candles, please. Don't catch the house on fire. But I also grew up in a household where my mom had candles throughout the house, too. So if you wanted it to smell good, just go and light the Yankee candle, right? Because they were big, and they had all these different fragrances and made your house smell good.
Yeah.
Well,
My
we-
mom's a big fan of sugar cookie. That was like her go-to for a long time.
Yes.
And it was always on the stove. So after dinner, everything's wiped down, everything's clean, the dishwasher's running, the candle goes
That's
on
right.
until
She
bedtime.
did do that.
Yeah. I don't know if she still does it or not, but
I don't think she does because...
well, that poor woman, she's always got like a cough or a phlegmy throat or whatever. I really do believe that and we've told her, like, you got to get rid of all the cleaners that she uses and the candles and stuff. I think it would help. And she said that she's like, what was it, RC oil or something?
That's
Is it
a good
something
oil.
that helps with breathing?
Yep.
Or something?
RC Raven.
I think she still likes that oil. I don't know if she diffuses it or not, but I know she's mentioned it the last, 2 or 3 times in the last year that we've talked. So I know she still has it. I just don't know how she uses it. But
And I'll say too, it's really hard to break habits. I honestly am curious now that you brought your mom up. I kind of want to ask my mom, like, how many candles do you have in the house now?
Yeah, right.
because it's bad. But my mom, when she did switch over, she fully switched over to Young Living, and she places an order every month. And they're getting stuff because she and my stepdad use different products from Young Living, which I'm really happy about because it's helping them and they're feeling better. So that's fantastic. But yes, I grew up in a household where my mom had candles and that was just the norm for us. What we didn't know back then was how toxic candles are. They release carcinogens into the air. I have a list that I'll pull up here in a minute with more detailed descriptions of what the toxins are and how they affect our bodies. But like Jeff said, his mom would feel like she had a frog in her throat and you're constantly clearing your throat. My mom had that. My mom has that because of other food allergies and other toxins that were overwhelming her body. Wasn't just like candles or plug-ins. But when we got rid of candles, I realized that I didn't have runny noses anymore because we'd burn a candle for a couple hours, or I'd open the windows and I'd burn candles because I wanted that fresh rain smell to come in, and then I'd want the fall scent of a Yankee candle, right? And I always remember having some kind of reaction, like my eyes would get watery, like I said, runny nose, I'd get a cough, I'd sneeze a lot, but because that's what you always did and grew up with, why in the world would you think it's the candle, right? Like, most people are like, oh, there's just something outside that's making me sneeze and cough. And when we got rid of candles and I brought diffusers into the house and we started diffusing, all of that stuff went away. I never had watery, itchy eyes again. That was the other thing, itchy eyes. My nose stopped running, and I wasn't sneezing and coughing anymore. And I noticed that Jeff also was having the same relief from that kind of stuff, and his allergies started to go away. I do believe, though, that the allergies also...
Yeah, but I didn't have allergies in the wintertime, and that's when you burn the most candles.
In the springtime, I burned candles, too, though. It was fall and spring the most. Never burned them in the summertime because it's too hot.
I don't know that I ever had any adverse reactions to actual candles before.
Well, all right.
Like those.
That you know of, right?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. I think some people are more sensitive than others to certain things. It doesn't mean that it's good for you. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest. I don't know that I ever noticed I had anything. Cleaners, though, I know.
I'll do the
cleaners affect me for sure, like the bleaches and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's a whole nother story for another podcast. But I just wanted to read through a couple things that I've taken notes on before, that I've posted on my personal socials, just trying to bring awareness to people, because it is important. I mean, why do you want to be sick all the time? And I'm sorry, but I don't want to breathe in something that in 20 years is going to give me breast cancer, and a doctor looks at me and says, well, did you burn candles for the majority of your life? Because if these are the things that are causing, which I do believe they are causing cancers in men and women, why are we voluntarily bringing this crap into our house?
Well, there's a lot of people get lung cancer and stuff like that that weren't smokers. You know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
You definitely are inhaling things that are carcinogenic. I mean, one could argue that it's car exhaust or diesel fumes or whatever, but again, like, it happens.
Yeah, it does. So let me read a couple of these off. For those of you that don't know, candles are made from paraffin wax. I don't know if you know what paraffin wax is, but it's a petroleum byproduct. And when it's burned, paraffin wax releases toxic VOC, which is volatile organic compounds, into the air that we're breathing. Some of these include acetone, benzene, and toluene, which are all known carcinogens. So that is like 3 major carcinogens that they are putting into candle wax. That again, if you don't do your research on this stuff, I just feel like you're like a kid in the candy store, like, hey, pick me, I want cancer next. Like, that's how I feel when we talk about air fresheners, candles, and Scentsies. Scentsies are another big one. The plug-in Glade, I hate Glade. When I walk down the grocery store aisle with all of that garbage in it, like, I physically get sick. My children now look at me and tell me they get a headache. Like, Lucas will say, head hurt, like, what's wrong? And I'm like, it's the smells. Like, all of these smells are overtaking your body. And because I 100% believe it's because I don't have any of that stuff in my home, that my children have a faster reaction to the chemicals because their bodies are reacting to the toxins. These are some of the same chemicals found in, this is what got me the most when I did the research on it, diesel fuel emissions, and are known to cause allergies, asthma, and skin problems.
Which is funny, though, because, like, California, love to hate them, but they're ahead of the curve on a lot of the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they push a lot of stupid stuff, don't get me wrong, in regards to climate change and how we're all going to save the planet somehow. A whole nother podcast. But, like, they do a really good job of, like, you have to label this for what it is, or it has to meet this standard. And if it doesn't meet this standard, then you need to put a warning that comes, and I'm sure everybody's gotten it, from IKEA furniture to cleaners to everything else. And it's like, oh, California, causes cancer. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I always just disregarded that, and I was just like, okay, you kooks. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? But I also never believed in chemtrails before either, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, hippie. You know what I mean? Like, I never I don't know. I never thought I'd be here. I'll put it that way. But I'm like, so why do they do that with diesel exhaust? Like, they put that on stuff. I mean, you have to have all these certifications to run heavy equipment or anything diesel. I mean, whether it's equipment or trucks or whatever. In California, it's like, why? I wonder if California requires that candles put a carcinogenic warning on their candles. I don't live in California, but you would think it would be on everything because they just put the sticker on everything. That's why you get it, even if you're in Oklahoma or Oregon or wherever. But that's different.
Well, if you live in California and you listen to us, please let us know if there are...
Yeah, look at your Yankee candle before you throw it away, and see if it has a sticker on it. Or go buy a new one. Katie will reimburse you. At Crunchy Mom and Doubting Dad on Instagram. What?
No.
Well, how else are you going to buy one from California?
We got
You're going to need
people
somebody from California to buy one.
You can go to the grocery store and look.
Oh, yeah, just do that. Take a picture. Post it on there. That would be helpful.
No offense. I mean, I don't need a Yankee candle in my house.
Oh, we just got that big sponsor at you the other day, and so I thought we would throw some money
for
around.
Crying out loud. Anyway, hold on. I've got more bad news about candles, and you can go on another rant about the next section that I'm going to read from my notes.
I'm sure I will.
So, in addition to releasing toxic chemicals, burning paraffin wax produces soot.
Soot.
What?
It is soot.
I read it as suit.
Soot. S-U-I-T. Soot.
Soot. Good golly.
What's in the tea, Katie?
A little Bailey's.
Some mushroom?
No, I'm just kidding.
Uh-huh.
It's cinnamon apple. You can smell it.
Is it real apple? Is it organic apple?
It's actually an organic tea. Yes, it is.
Is it really?
Yogi.
How do they get the apple flavor in there?
Really?
Jolly Rancher? You put an apple Jolly Rancher in there?
Really?
Sour apple?
Can we get back to candles, please?
Soot.
Thank you. That is put into the air with particles that can remain suspended in the air for hours. I mean, so think about it, like you're burning a candle and all of that garbage is burning off into your house, and then when you blow that candle out, it's still sitting in the air for hours after you're done burning
Febreze
it.
brags about it on their commercials.
I know they
They're
do.
like,
It's disgusting.
we have this crazy technology that keeps all this scent suspended in the air for 10 times longer than the other sprays. And I'm like, doesn't that just mean I'm breathing it? You know what I mean? Like, geez Louise.
There was a study done at the University of South Florida that showed that these ultrafine soot particles are similar to diesel exhaust in both their size and composition.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I mean, I doubt it's the same as putting your mouth around a friggin', exhaust pipe, but, I mean, or running a diesel engine in your house. But again, it's
still just as bad.
It's an enclosed space and you're recycling the air as well. Most houses do.
The article went on to say that they penetrate deeply into the lungs and are absorbed into the bloodstream. Ultrafine particles are associated with allergies, asthma, and other respiratory diseases, as well as heart attacks, stroke, and even cancer. A study by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency showed that soot emissions from candles containing fragrances are significantly higher than those from non-scented candles. These were just the main highlights that I looked up years ago when I decided to get rid of candles because I loved candles so much that I didn't want to get rid of them. And it was really hard for my brain to switch over from a Yankee candle that smelled so good and literally filled my entire house, now I know why, to a diffuser. And in a big room, like this is a big open room in our house, that's a diffuser behind Jeff's head, and I have another one over there across the room. And I have both of them going simultaneously during the day and in the evening time, just because it's a bigger room. But I don't smell the oils like I used to because I'm so used to them. Like when I first get them going in the diffuser, I'm like, oh yeah, there's the thieves, or that smells like hope, or I'll put joy in there and I can smell it really well. But when I go outside and come back in, that's when it hits me and I'm like, whoa, yeah, I've got oils in the diffuser. So then it reminds me like, oh no, I am getting what I loved about scents from my diffusers. I'm just making sure that it's healthy and safe for my family and we're not burning candles. Like Jeff said, I've got it in a decoration here, but those are non-scented soy candles. So, and I never burn them.
Yeah.
They're there for decoration.
But these moved all the way from Oregon.
They did. But if there is a power outage and flashlights run out of batteries, whatever, I do have extra
We're not
of.
running out of batteries.
I know, but I'm just saying we have candles just in case too.
I did buy those smart light bulbs too.
Oh yeah, you did. I forgot about that.
They charge, so you just put them in the regular outlet, and then they just charge up, and then if the power goes out, they kick on. I think they last like 12 hours or something too.
I want to talk really quickly too about plugins. And sorry, I am reading a lot, but this is a lot of information. And like I said, I
Well, we should recap candles before you go into the next thing.
Okay.
I think it's not even a rabbit hole type of a discussion. It's just flat out it's bad for you.
Yeah, don't use candles.
And most anybody would agree with that, right? Like very little research, and you just brought up like the bigger talking points. But I'm pretty sure you can use even Google, and it would tell you, oh no, it's bad. So
yeah, get rid of them. It's the best thing you will ever do for your household, especially if you have children and they've had asthma for a young age. If you are, again, no judgment from Jeff and I, but if you are that mom like I was who constantly burned candles in your house and your children have asthma, get rid of the candles and see how their health changes, because I really do believe that's a big one for your house to get rid of.
Yeah, that would freak me out. I would hate to have asthma.
Yeah.
Like to feel like you can't breathe is pretty scary. I've only experienced it a couple times in my life. Like getting the wind knocked out of you, I could imagine it's like that times 10, because it just doesn't, you know what I mean? You never get it back, or you don't feel like you ever get it back. I can't remember what kid it was. I thought it was a kid down here who had an asthma attack or something. Not like a bad one, but I was like, you just see the panic in their eyes and you feel horrible for them. But there's nothing you can do but tell them to breathe, which they can't do.
Yeah, I know, right?
So.
So moving on to plugins, we'll do plugins, air fresheners, and room sprays all together. So one of the biggest concerns with these air fresheners is phthalates. We've talked about phthalates before in the beginning episodes of the podcast. I think we brought that in with greenwashing. When the Natural Resources Defense Council tested 14 different air fresheners, it was discovered that 86% contained these chemicals that can cause birth defects, hormonal abnormalities, and reproductive problems. If you are a woman that is struggling to get pregnant and you use candles, plugins, air fresheners, and what else did I say? Room sprays, knock it off. And I mean that in the most loving way. But there are so many things that can cause infertility. That is the easiest swap and the one that makes the most sense from the beginning. I'm not saying that is going to cure, I'm not a doctor, I'm not saying it's going to cure your reproductive issues if there are some, but I 100% believe that you need to reduce your toxins and how much is going in and on your body. That stat and that percentage just breaks my heart. I mean, birth defects. So again, we haven't really talked. We gave our birthing story before we went on to YouTube, and we talked this week, and I know we need to move those 1 through 40 something over to YouTube so that y'all can watch and listen to those too. But
yeah, we're just gonna like take a bunch of B-roll or something and then just add in the audio. I told you I think I can do it, but
okay.
We have a friend that said he would help with, and he's super smart and has a big YouTube channel, but he said he would like help us or whatever. But
so we're gonna
I don't
get
like
that.
asking people for help, but I think we kind of need to.
But we're gonna start doing that so that if you are only subscribing and watching us on YouTube from whatever 46 through 52 now, you can get the backstory of how all of this came to be.
Yep.
But honestly, get rid of them. Because it's not doing you any good health-wise. The organization stated that most phthalates are well known to interfere with the production of male hormone testosterone and have been associated with reproductive abnormalities. Phthalates are also listed in the state of California's, this is why I laughed when you brought up California, list of toxic substances known to cause birth defects or reproductive harm. The NRDC also warned that airborne phthalates can lead to allergic symptoms and asthma, and that's even in trace amounts. It reports that this includes air fresheners marketed as unscented or all natural and they all contain these hazardous chemicals. So again, that goes back to
Why
our
would you
very
buy an unscented air freshener? What would that even be? They have unscented air fresheners?
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, that goes back to our very first episode when we talked about greenwashing. You have to be very careful with these companies that sell this stuff to you because they do. They claim.
We just laughed at chopped tomatoes or diced tomatoes the other day at the grocery store. And I'm like, hey, get that one. I was like, it's all natural. It says so right there. Like,
definitely not.
Seriously.
So again, be careful because they like to say that they're all natural because these big box companies know that people are looking for better products and they don't want to lose your business. So then they just say that they changed the ingredients on it and that it's all natural now, and it's a bunch of BS.
I like all those videos that are going around now, and it's like McDonald's French fries then and McDonald's French fries now, and it's like this many things and that many things, and it's M&M's then and M&M's now, and I'm like, dude, it really is true. And like I said, sometimes I think I don't think they're even worried about listing it all because nobody knows what they are. Hardly anyone can pronounce them anyway. And you have no idea what it's doing to you anyway. You don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, that could just be the technical name for honey. You know what I mean? I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they put these big, huge names on it. And like I said, I wonder if they don't do it on purpose just to overwhelm people that are like, dude, whatever, it's M&M's or whatever, it's peanut butter, what do I care? Like,
but you should.
I know you should.
You really
I'm just saying,
need to care.
It's just, oh man.
It's
definitely our food. You just can't. I keep going back to it, but you cannot look at this freaking world. You can't look at our health. You can't look at the kids' health. You can't look at our mental health. You can't look at our reproductive health. I mean, our birth rates are like plummeting in this country. You know what I mean? Like we need 2.1 just a birth rate just to replace the dead, and we were at 1.8 last I checked, and I think like a month or so ago it's like 1.6. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And then you have people like Elon Musk, love him or hate him, and he's been coming out I think for over a year, and he's like, the biggest problem this world is facing right now, even though you have been completely bullshitted into believing otherwise, is population. That's going to be the number one issue we have. Dude, sorry, stuff ain't going to get cheaper, inflation or no. It's just going to get more and more expensive. And there's going to be less and less guys like me to put in your septic system or to hook up your sewer line or put in a water line or clear your land or, you know what I mean? There's going to be less and less plumbers, less and less. I mean, there's just going to be less of everything. And sure as shit in this country, you could argue there's going to be a heck of a lot less qualified people or knowledgeable people to do things. I mean, we import our doctors, our nurses, you know what I mean? Like, if you believe in modern medicine, Western medicine, whatever. But I don't know, man. Buckle up, because I think it's I was just bitching about this on the way into the grocery store the other day with you. I was like, I'm almost on the whole Gen Z side of things. I hate to say that, but I am, because every generation, the new generation always gets mocked by the previous, or the older generation. And I kind of see Gen Z's point. Like, it pissed me off because we were like following some old guy in a brand new GMC truck doing like 20 miles an hour on a 40 mile an hour road, but doing 40 around the corners that are marked 25. Like, just completely erratic in my opinion. Like, I don't know what you're doing. But he's old, and we live in a small town, so I didn't like flip him off or get mad or do anything. But I'm just like, dude, this freaking guy. And then Jackson's like, what? And I'm like, and then if Jackson cues me off, because you never do.
No, because I know better.
Because then I'll go on my rant. But I was like, it's this guy in front of me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and he bought, 250 acres, 50 years ago for $17,000, and if you ask him about it, he'd be like, oh, I was only making $1,500 a month back then, Yeah, and your mortgage was $17,500. Well, yeah, but I had to get a $30,000 mortgage on top of that to build our 3,800 square foot house. Like, I'm sorry, I'm on Gen Z's side when I could give a flying shit about the plight of the frickin' baby boomer in this country. Like, sorry, you had it way easier than you think you did, and it's not just because we've had our struggles financially. I've made really, really good money, and then we've had a business, and on and on and on. We've had our struggles, and it's not like a jealousy money thing. It's be thankful for what you have thing, and it's like the boomers act like they struggled to get these things they had, and I'm like, no, due to inflation and shitty politicians that you elected when we were too young to vote, right, and all the bullshit you fell for is why we have the food that we have. It's why we have the shit products that we have. It's why we have the world that we live in today. And I'm not blaming it all on one generation, but it's kind of hard not to when the generation previous to that were the badass mothers that went and fought World War II and built this country and turned it into an industrial superpower. It's kind of hard not to place the blame on the baby boomers. Like, I'm just...
now I have to apologize to all the baby boomers who listen to our podcast.
I'm sorry.
And never listen again. I understand why.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I see these young kids, and some of them are lazy, you know, and then you see not all of them are. Some of them are lazy deadbeats, but there's lazy deadbeats in every generation. But my point is like there's women out there that are working 3 jobs. Their husband was a piece of crap or their boyfriend, and they're a single mom, and they can't pay their $1,800 rent a month. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like there's this lack of compassion on the boomer side. Because the boomers will be like, oh, with their $1,000 cell phone, I noticed they all have a car. Oh, fancy car. You didn't have a car? Yeah, you had a 1983 Ford F-250 that you bought brand new off the lot for $9,500. Like, I don't feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Our cars now are, you buy the same truck and it's $70,000, $80,000. You buy a house for $30,000 in 1975, and now all of a sudden it's $450,000. Like, this isn't fair. Wages, look at any graph you want to. Wages to GDP, wages to cost, inflation, whatever. And wages are flat. And everything else just costs more and more money. And then the boomers' response is, well, I got a $1,000 cell phone.
I love you. Are you done, though?
I'm just saying that $1,000
I'm sorry. Everybody's looking at me
cell
going,
phone costs $13 a month. That's
everybody's
all I'm saying.
looking at me going, Katie looks really bored and a little irritated. And yes, you are correct. I am, because I've heard this 3 times this week from him because it's been a constant rant. So I don't want to hear it again.
The cell phone's on a payment plan.
Okay,
that's all. That's my last rant.
Back to the air fresheners and
somebody
the
has a damn
plug-ins.
cell phone doesn't mean
Another common ingredient in these products is formaldehyde, which again, some people
and
get
toilet paper too.
Yes, I know. We've already talked about that. But just for a review, formaldehyde is a well-known human carcinogen. It's colorless and odorless, and you won't even know it's there. Pretty sneaky that these marketing people and people who produce these products can sneak that in there. It's been definitely linked to both throat and nose cancer, and is also known to cause chronic irritation of airways and the throat that can potentially lead to dangerous infections, asthma, frequent nosebleeds, and other respiratory problems, according to the U.S. government National Toxicology Program. These risks are even greater for infants, the elderly, and those who have a compromised immune system. A study published in the International Journal of Public Health in 2013 revealed that pregnant women who had used air fresheners were significantly more likely to have babies that suffered from wheezing and lung infection, which then makes me go on a rant about our vaccines, because when I was a baby, and I believe when my brothers were born, and I'd have to ask my parents about this, there was no such thing as a whooping cough vaccine. But fast forward to my brothers fast forward to my children, now there is a whooping cough vaccine, and Jeff and I did research on that, and I am assuming that if you actually do your research and you paid attention to what I just read with babies being born with wheezing and lung infection, what is the mother doing while she's pregnant? 1. And 2, I 100% believe that they didn't want parents to freak out, so they made up a vaccine for
something more to sell you.
Why you need this, because your child wheezes. But again, we're not going back to what the root cause is, which is it's candles, it's air fresheners, it's plug-ins, it's all of these toxic products that you're putting into your body that you're breathing in, that your child is breathing in while in utero.
Yeah.
And it just angers me. Like, I get super passionate about it, because you don't need a whooping cough vaccine if there's no whooping cough history in your family, which there is none in mine. There is none in my husband's. So our children never got that whooping cough vaccine. And guess what? They don't have whooping cough. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Well, I would say that a majority of our listeners would probably, or viewers, whatever, would probably agree with the statement that, like, when it comes to the government, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. When it comes to the government, they create the problem and then sell us on the solution, right?
Oh, 100%.
They create the problem and then it's like, oh, vote for me, and then I'll solve this problem that's been created. Well, no, you actually created the problem and you've perpetuated it, and now it's 4 years later, so you're going to tell me that you're going to cure it. I think most people would agree with that statement. Why do you think that logic and that tactic would stop with government? Which this twisted, perverted version of capitalism that we have in this country that is on the side of socialism and Marxism, in my opinion, in which the government is in bed with big business, right? They police you through business. They control you through big business. You know what I mean? They shut down everything, and you're only allowed to shop at what stores they want you to shop at. COVID was a great lesson in that. We can have liquor stores open. We can have Walmart open. We can have Home Depot open. You know what I mean? As long as you don't go buy seeds for some reason in Michigan. You know what I mean? Like, why would it stop there? Why would that tactic stop with them? It doesn't stop with them. It works with all the big corporations, whether it's big ag or whether it's big pharma or whether it's big whatever you want to call it. They all do the same thing. They create the problem and then they do the solution. And I believe that for years politically, and I definitely, since you've gone crunchy, believe that on the whole business side of thing, like these big businesses and stuff, because it's there. That's why I don't believe, like, it's a crazy conspiracy, but that's why I believe the polio vaccine conspiracy. I think it was all DDT damage that they did to those freaking kids, and they came out and they're like, holy shit, it's polio. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, okay, maybe it's polio, but to the extent that the side effects that they blamed on polio, I don't think was actually polio. I think all of those deformities and everything else, and you look at when they started manipulating the shit with a Zika virus, what did it do to the children? Exactly what they tried to do genetically to the mosquito, which was to stop the head development of the female or whatever, so that when she gave birth, none of them could even bite you. I mean, they wouldn't live. They didn't live, but you know what I mean? And what was polio? All these deformities of legs, and I mean, it was bad stuff, right? So, I don't know. I'm with you, though.
Well, and I'll end with this because we're getting close to 45 minutes, and some of our rants have not helped. But
some of our rants, you can just point it right at me and blame it on me.
It's him.
Speaking of irritants,
oh my gosh, no!
That you said earlier.
I'm going to finish with this. Again, all of these things are horrible. Some of these things are repeated. Asthma keeps being repeated. Birth defects, all of the reproduction problems. A lot of people are probably, some people might go, Katie, you're a freaking lunatic, and that's fine too. But people believe that these products go through rigorous testing and that our government actually regulates what people put in these products. And that's a farce. Like, that does not happen. Like, there's so many different umbrellas and disguises and all of the, sneak plays, like, the quarterback sneak going in for the touchdown, right? That's basically how you have to look at these big box companies and these people that want to make you sick, because that's how I look at them now. And you have to understand that these candles, the air fresheners, the plug-ins, the room sprays don't go under any kind of testing, and they can put whatever they want in them. And this is why I believe we're getting so sick and having the issues we're having, because none of it's regulated and they can put whatever products they want in there. So I would be very weary going forward putting any type of candle, air freshener, everything we talked about today into your home. And if you are on the fence about starting anywhere, start with that. Go unplug all your Glade, get rid of all your room fresheners, your Febreze, all of that garbage, any aerosol sprays you have that you spray in the air to make, get rid of your poopery. Like, sorry, but seriously, put a diffuser in the bathroom.
It's a fantastic invention.
Get rid of all of the fake fragrance crap that's in your home. And I guarantee you, give it a month and you're going to see differences in your health. I guarantee it. And again, we're not doctors. We're not giving you medical advice. But from what we've experienced and what we have watched our crunchy friends and family members go through when they've switched it, holy crap, man. Like, it is undeniable truth that these products are bad for you. So if you have questions, again, please reach out to us on YouTube and
the comments
Spotify.
The
comments are on everywhere. Crunchy Mom and Doubting Dad for Spotify, and for Instagram, Crunchy Mom Doubting Dad for YouTube. And follow us subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram because I do shorts and stuff on there too. I did a live for what we got in our Young Living order today. A couple different. So anyway, we have to end because we're at 45 minutes. So
should we just mellow it out with some more baby boomer rants? Or?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Because I have a lot more to say on the topic.
But enjoy this new episode, and we'll see you all on Saturday.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.